I'm Mike Hebert, owner of Cantex Roofing and Construction. Every day is game day, and we'll get it right when it comes to your roofing, construction, windows, and mirrors. Call Cantex Roofing and Construction today. Together, we are one serving you.
The podcast that finishes your workday in a very Red Raider way. This is the Tech Talk Podcast from Double T 97.3, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
It is Tech Talk live from the Overton. Thank you for joining us here on Double T 97.3, DoubleTSportsNetwork.com, and the Double T 97.3 mobile app, brought to you by our friends at Happy State Bank. I'm Clint Scott. He's Dr. Mike Gustafson. Kyler Brown back at home base. We also have Jimmy Cook here cooking up the volumes. That wasn't very cool. We are getting you ready for the weekend. Red Raider football taking on the Oregon State Beavers for their final non-conference game. Gus, do you think that there's not a chance that the staff has overlooked Oregon State?
No.
There's not a chance that the team has overlooked Oregon State. But, you know, we did see that at the start of the week that, hey, are the fans overlooking Oregon State? And I think as a whole, I've seen that so much, I don't think they are. I think it had more to do with you had that big noon kickoff announcement with Utah around the corner.
Right.
But I don't think anybody actually is. Just because this is, we talked about this yesterday, this feels like this is, in some ways, the real start of the season, even though you have an official 2-0 record just with the jump up in competition. The way your schedule worked out, it just feels like this is in my mind, really any sort of test number one. But I don't think I don't think the fans are as a whole.
Yeah, I can't imagine. I mean, because I can't imagine that this game would be overlooked. You really want in this sport, and it can happen. I mean, we could talk about we're only playing one game a week. Have it, you got 12 games a year. Mm-hmm. Everyone's not going to be the peak performance level perfection, but I can't imagine that any. Anything that if we don't just reel off another 60-point performance that somebody was overlooking anyone, because there has been zero verbiage out of that program about it.
Yeah.
In fact, when the Tuesday podcast was recorded, Gio asked Coach McGuire about it, and he said, hey, this was the brand, that podcast, said, yeah, there's no need. You don't have to worry about that. I'm going to take care of that today.
Yeah, right.
In a couple hours. Because we've seen the clips of it where he'll have motivational things on the screen or things that they're going to look at or stuff that they're going to address. And, it's basically his weekly address that turns their attention forward. On Tuesday, the coaches have done all their prep. The guys have taken care of their academics and training room and all that stuff on Monday. And that's kind of been for what it's worth, that's been a fairly typical approach going back into the 80s. Coach Dykes did that. Mm-hmm. Actually, back in those days, he had a Monday night practice. And it was so that if you had labs, you had any kind of lecture stuff, those kind of afternoon-oriented classes, Monday. But
I don't think you have to worry about the
no.
That sort of scheduling stuff anymore.
Distance
learning. It is funny
stuff.
to think about that. Yeah, sure.
No, the online stuff and all that, they can get those guys in season and manage that even more so than ever. But he's made it a point. He made it a point. And you also have, I think, a good core of senior leaders who have been through these type performances. Because I think he said that the other thing that he had done is text at least Barron and Rodriguez. I can't remember if there was one more. And he was like, hey, this has been the game that we've been mediocre in the last couple of years. So make sure that doesn't happen. In other words, he's always working on his captains to make sure that the things that are being said inside the room, if anybody's acting disinterested or whatever, that gets nipped.
Going into,
I think this is a test of leadership, culture, that kind of stuff. And if you win 42-20, that's not like, oh, they were overlooking. It's okay. It's a 24-point spread, not a 54-point spread.
Yeah,
right?
if you don't cover,
right. I mean, if it's a 22-point game, we'll be okay. Yeah.
Now, because it's more of how do you look in that game, and then you could say if you're just going off the score, if it's close, we'll see what it looks like for how we walk away from it. I don't think it will be, but what you just noted, like when you look at the game against Pine Bluff to start the season, and you move on to Kent State, and I had the same thought. There's several things that you're looking for just because it's the start of the season, but even with, really bad opponents, one of the things that I just wanted to see out of the group was something that we did see in those games. Are you coming out and still treating this like you're facing Oregon? Like, are you coming out and facing like you're right. Seeing a Big 12 opponent, even though the odds were that you were going to beat those opponents by a lot? And you did. You were focused. You handled them correctly. And now I think you're seeing, to what you're saying, a lot of the same things this weekend, or at least you are going to see that, where you are laser focused on them. And just trying to figure out what Oregon State is. I was trying to maybe compare them to some other Big 12 teams. Like if you put a neutral site game, Gus, against a banged up West Virginia team right now against Oregon State, like what do you think that line would be? Because I think that would be pretty close. Yeah, that's probably a good comp. And so are you treating them like a Big 12 team? And I think you will be, and I think we'll see that sort of performance. But that's, past the schematic side, past the I want to see you rush for all these yards, I want to see you dominate the line of scrimmage, I want you to cause pressure, all the stuff obviously you want to see. One of the things is how are you just handling this team mindset-wise? And this is where you go to, it's not just some of the guys that like Baron Morton and Jacob Rodriguez that are back in the program, but this is, to me, another kind of first look at David Bailey and like Reggie Virgil, older guys that you've added to the portal who are also stepping in by default. Like a Cole Wisniewski is a perfect example of this, by default stepping into a leadership role because they have played a lot of football and they're also key players immediately you're leaning on to lead you to a bunch of wins. Yeah, we haven't, it's interesting. You say Wisniewski's name. I haven't really heard much from him, but, not many running plays have gotten his way. And really hadn't been a lot of throwing of any level of effectiveness, a lot of underneath stuff, getting it out of quarterback's hands. And I think it'll be interesting to see if he's going to be more impactful, or I think he will be more impacthow that is. That's like a compliment because you haven't had to, right? I mean, dude, there's been some years in the past, how many times have we see Cody Davis either making a tackle or chasing someone into the end zone? Yeah. Like, and that was an 11-year NFL guy? But, yeah, just if that was happening, if any of your secondary pieces in these first two games had been racking up a bunch of tackles, it was either these running backs and the running game for them were breaking into that last level, or those quarterbacks were completing a lot of passes. And either way, that would kind of be, I think, maybe disheartening. These guys will be able to chuck it and create a little bit more of a challenge for those guys at the back. Yeah, put pressure on you, which is a good thing. Yep. Good thing to see. It is Tech Talk here in Double T 97.3. The Binders have made it out to the Overton as well. We'll go back in time when we come back.
It's every Red Raiders' favorite podcast. This is the Tech Talk Podcast from Double T 97.3, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
It is Tech Talk live from the Overton here in Double T 97.3, Double T Sports Network.com, Double T 97.3 mobile app, brought to you by our friends at Happy State Bank. I'm Clint. Thank you for making us a part of your Friday. The Red Raiders hosting the Oregon State Beavers at the Jones tomorrow. It is crazy to think that we're already in week 3, Gus. Yeah. That's one of those, I can't believe how fast time flies. Oh, you got that right. And, and I think it hits warp speed right here. Once we get about a week and a half, like, fully clear of Labor Day, it's going to be in no time at all. We're going to be like, hey, Oklahoma State coming to town here. Get ready for Halloween. I mean, it's these next few weeks really fall into that good football week rhythm. NFL's going, all of that, and it zips along here. I've always thought like mid-September to early November is like that. Mm-hmm. Hit us up on the Yates Flooring Center chat line. Thoughts, comments, all of that welcome there. Score predictions, have a couple of those we'll get to. We got this on the Yates Flooring Center chat line. Shelly said, yes, you're right, Gus. Louise from St. Louis. Can't believe you know that Sex and the City fact. No, I knew that. I was a little surprised too, Shelly. I've seen the movie like once, probably caught a little bit of it, as my
wife and daughter on the second, third rewatches and all, but I saw it the first time. But here's what I can say, Shelley, and I don't know if it's in defense, but the reason why I know that,
just give a reason.
Our dogs have all been named after St. Louis Cardinal Hall of Famers, right? And this most recent addition is a little female dog, little 15, 16, 18-pounder, okay? And so it was time for a Lou because we had to get something kind of androgynous there. Like, well, we can do Lou. That's female, male, whatever. I call her Lou as in Lou Brock. My wife and daughter call her Lou as in Louise from that movie.
Okay.
And so it's you could say we have a dog that's the dog name that's sort of inspired by a Louise. Yeah, and the reason is Jennifer. Yeah, I can't remember Jennifer Aniston. Jennifer Hudson was moving. She was from St. Louis, moving back to St. Louis in the movie. Shelley, you're going to have to help us with plot lines. Don't think it's necessary to complete this segment, but, that's
at 4:30, Gus is going to completely retell everything he remembers from the entire Sex and the City franchise.
Yeah, we'll just have Shelley call in, and she can give us that if anyone really wants it. Yep.
This on the Yates Flooring Center chat line. There will be several high-impact prospects at this game. The crowd needs to be great.
Yes, it does, and that may be the challenge if you're to the fans. And I mean, done a good job of selling this thing out, but this is most certainly the most juiced up recruiting weekend. I don't know that it'll end up being of the year. But you got the number one quarterback in the class of 2027 here, okay? Not South Plains number one quarterback, not West Texas, not state of Texas, like the whole operation, yeah. And so that's the level of prospect. We know about the decommit from
I say one of those is Bryce Gilmore,
right,
who's the 4-star offensive lineman who immediately, Gus, you have the expert prediction, the Swift long, whatever the official prediction for him to be a Red Raider. He's in the house. You also have some that have
tackle.
Yeah, some that have already committed will be in the house.
It's a big weekend.
And I don't think you. I agree. That crowd needs to be juiced, but I also don't think that's anything we need to worry about. I think, like I said, it would make sense just when you look at the level of opponent and just how highly anticipated this season is, how highly anticipated this roster is. But I think you're going to see the best crowd so far.
Yep, I think so too. And if you're indifferent about the game for some reason or not feeling up to it or whatever, boy, this is a critical time to show up and do your thing because, yes, the Beavers need to hear us and feel us, feel our thunder and just do all the deal.
Feel our thunder.
By the way, it's a big Fox broadcast. I mean, this isn't some deal that's buried down on your streaming dial or whatever.
Tim Brando is here.
We got a chance for some eyeballs, and so what we need is to put on a good show for that situation. But we're also putting on a good show for the 17-year-old standing over there. That's a big deal. Like show up early, be loud. Don't check out on this thing because we need to show out for those guys.
Do you think we'll get a Rob Bro, Tim Brando pregame fight? Do you think that will?
I don't know.
3 weeks leading to fisticuffs.
You know what's happened right here in this lobby, Clint, during this show in the past? Tim Brando's come walking down that hall right there, so it could happen.
It could happen right in front of us.
Absolutely.
That would be amazing.
You might want to, if you were thinking about where should we go get a beer this afternoon, come on over. You might see a scrap.
If that happens, Gus, do you want play-by-play or do you want color? Which one do you want? Let's go ahead and get dibs now.
I'm going to let you and Bro handle it.
Jimmy, well, he's the one in the fight.
Let you and Jimmy handle it.
Jimmy's
Chuck's standing right here. He can get it.
What do they do? Not sideline. It would be ringside reporting for Jimmy Cook.
Yeah, and you know what? Speaking of ringside, we got a big one tomorrow, that Canelo fight. Tomorrow night. Yes.
Go watch it at Twin Peaks.
Yes.
Or here at the bar. Well, I assume here.
I probably will have it. It's a Netflix situation, I think. Like you don't need special pay-per-view or whatever. You have to have a Netflix subscription. Yeah, it's here we go.
This on the Yates Flooring Center chat line. Home soccer Sunday afternoon games is where home football Saturday hangovers go to die. Perfect.
Yeah. See you there at 1 o'clock.
Viva73 said, my prediction for the game tomorrow is Texas Tech 55, Oregon State 7.
Ooh, I like that. That would be the most impressive side of that would be the defensive side, because I figured they'd have a couple touchdowns in them. But that would be just fine. I mean, we started the show with this, the idea of what's the best preparation just for the season, conference play, Utah next week, whatever. Like, we need to be challenged. We need to, we need tight situations and, a hotly contested half, whatever, 3/4 of football. And it's like, or we go out and just smoke somebody. But I think we're all thinking about it in terms of, like, what can we do to, make sure our guys aren't on the field for 17 plays and then over there signing autographs.
Resume-wise, too, I mean, if it comes down to it and you needed it, like let's say if you happen to be fighting for an at-large, I'm not saying this would, make or break your resume, but it would probably look better to have a big score on there, don't you think?
Absolutely.
With how I expect Oregon State's season to play out, I think they'll be in the end hanging around a 6-6, 5-7 mark, somewhere around there. If that one's close, I don't know, couldn't you foresee a world that's held against you? It is Tech Talk live from the Overton on Double T 97.3. Back with more next.
The podcast put together with Red Raider fans in mind. This is the Tech Talk Podcast from Double T 97.3. Presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
It is Tech Talk live from the Overton here on Double T 97.3. Clint Scott, Dr. Mike Gustafson, Jimmy Cook is here, Chuck Hines is here, Rob Rowe is here, Kyler Brown back at home base. Kyler, do we have anybody else back there with us? Is it just you riding solo?
Roman is back here with me.
We also have Roman Hernandez, a.k.a. Roman Island.
Back there. Cover corner.
Hey, we are here live from the Overton. Once again, they have hooked us up with something that we absolutely will pitch to here for the Pecan Grill. It was, I believe, Cajun mashed potatoes with some grilled chicken over the top.
Delightful.
And in the break, I said this right here to Gus. I said, I'm usually not a skins in mashed potatoes guy, but that was fantastic. And then you attacked me.
I did.
Called me soft.
You are soft.
We're typically preferring no skins.
Skins and mashed potatoes guy.
Is that what I sounded like?
Yeah.
Was that it? Even though I was complimenting it?
Kind of nasally, yes.
But yeah, if you're out here at the Pecan Grill, well, definitely
good.
Come out here. Get that. Get the chicken and Cajun mashed potatoes. But order it in the voice that Gus just did. It is 4:15. What a bully. I would never make fun of someone, ever. It's time for a play of the day.
Set up outside the 2-2 pitch, and a swing and a miss. It was the fastball. Second strikeout of the night for DeGrom. 2-2, and a swing and a miss. Ninth strikeout of the day for DeGrom, and he gets through the sixth inning.
For the first time since being traded from the New York Mets to the Texas Rangers, Jacob DeGrom will enter Citi Field. And the Rangers will need a big performance from Jacob DeGrom as they look to keep their playoff chances alive.
There you go. Good play, Kyler. Good pull there, too. We talked about this yesterday. Would there be going to be an angry Northeast sports fan base anyway, but if there would be any extra, like, boos to DeGrom specifically or anything like that, or if there'll just be a normal amount of boos and birds flying.
Yeah, I don't have a sense of that. He was obviously very good for them for a while. Sometimes in the Midwest there will be applause for a former player who did good things there. I don't know that his thing was, I just don't remember the details of that.
Neither here nor there, but DeGrom signed with Texas as a free agent, not traded.
Yeah, so
yeah.
I knew the free agency. Did I say traded?
No, I think that was just in reference to.
And what I don't remember is if the Mets kind of ready to sort of move the agency effort, no doubt.
I asked you this.
It's a high-priced one at that, yeah.
I asked you this, I think, last week. Now I want to see if the answer has changed at all. Are the Rangers a playoff team when it is all said and done? So I'm probably going to ask you this every week.
Yeah, what the heck? Let's say yes, man. I mean, yeah, let's do it. You know what? And it may be at the expense of another of our Raymar products, and probably to the delight of some of the fan base, and as a crushing blow to others in the fan base. But yeah, the Astros are the ones that have played themselves onto the proverbial bubble. Mm-hmm. The Astros are the ones that are limping along right now. They need to get things going. They had another pitching injury recently. I mean, they're the ones that are, they're the ones that have let everyone back in. And the Rangers have done a good job of obviously getting themselves back in. But yeah, that's 2 games back in the wild card. The Astros and the Mariners tied. I mean, here we go. You head into the last 2 weeks of the season. Got some head-to-head going on here down the stretch. It's as good as it gets.
It's the drama we wanted, right? When we were dreaming a little dream at the start of the season of what this because we didn't get it last year, right?
No.
Because the Rangers had a season to forget following their World Series, and so we sat here going into the start of the season and thought about all of these things that could be as you inched towards October, really now sprinted towards October, and this time we're getting it. So it's incredibly entertaining. I saw the MLB's actual Twitter page said something just like said the wild AL West or something like that, and so I bet it if you're asking this conversation out like in Dodgers country or something, I'm not sure how much they're watching it as a whole. They have to be just the classic Rob Lowe just wearing a baseball MLB logo on the hat because I just enjoy all of the sport, but I think you're clearly the most, I don't know, again, maybe a little homer here, but you're the most entertaining division right now, at least story-wise going into the playoffs.
Absolutely. Because
you would just think.
And that plus 91 is a nice number for a team, and the expected one loss with a plus 91 run differential across the season is 84 and 63, and obviously that's 7 games different from where the Rangers are. So sometimes that can be chalked up to tough luck or whatever. There's probably been situations where they beat the tar out of teams and then lost a bunch of close games. But regardless, you can kind of throw that out the window, and boil this whole thing down to the last 15 games. But the Rangers 2 games out of the playoffs right now. The Mets just a game and a half in front of the last spot. They are in right now if it ended tomorrow, but they've got to hold off the Reds. And so it really is a good entertaining series. And the Astros need every game they can get because they're all dealing with the Mariners. Might be kind of fun if all 3 of them got in. I don't think that would happen because I think the Yankees and the Red Sox
you'd really have to have some help from either of those 2 teams.
Yeah, you got that right.
You will have, they see each other. I have to go look. It might be this weekend. It's sometime soon, if not, that those 2 face each other one more time. So, I think you don't care if you're any of the AOS teams which way it plays out, but once again, you're just rooting for some sort of sweeps. You're waiting for game 1, and then whoever wins it, you're rooting for them the next 2 games in that series.
Down to the last 15 games, Clint. Mm-hmm. Here we go.
And then, for the Astros, they're starting up a series against the Braves. And when you look at the entirety of the season, it's hard to say, like, when you're looking at Major League Baseball teams, it's hard to just consistently win every single series, right? And so you're not like, oh, well, you had to get that one. It's not like football, like you had to beat Oregon State or something like that. But when you get to this stage of the season and you look at the Braves on the other side, it's like, man, it feels like
got to get it.
You really need to take care of that.
Got to get one. Absolutely.
Yeah. You get to this stage, and I feel like you can start saying that sort of stuff.
You got that right. Yeah, the Rangers with just 6 home games left.
If you're looking to see him at the house. Yeah, there you go.
That'd be ideal.
It is Tech Talk live from the Overton on Double T 97.3. Back with more next.
It's every Red Raiders' favorite podcast. This is the Tech Talk Podcast from Double T 97.3. Presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
He can deny it all he wants. That's actually how it happened. I just wanted to hold the door for him. He was in the sling. He yelled at me, "Get my title right."
Whatever.
It is Tech Talk live from the Overton here on Double T 97.3. Thanks for making us a part of your Friday afternoon. Clint Scott, Dr. Mike Gustafson, Kyler Brown back at home base. Jimmy Cook here taking care of us as well, getting you ready for, one more day until Red Raider football hosting Oregon State. Tomorrow it'll be Optimum Game Day Live. We'll start at 7 o'clock. We'll be live on location at the stadium outside of the Fraser Alumni Pavilion. We'll go all the way till an hour before kickoff, and then after the game, it'll be the Double T 97.3 Coors Light postgame show right back here at the Overton, and hopefully it'll be another party over here after a big Red Raider win. Of course, Gus, you are not the only Big 12 game planned this weekend. No. In fact, you have two tonight. I'm going to run over just a few of these lines running around in the Big 12, and I want you to tell me which one you'd be most likely to be a degenerate gambler with and feel the best.
All right.
Betting, and which way, which line would you like the most, and which one would you take? So tonight you have a Big 12 matchup that actually counts for a Big 12 game. Houston is a 4.5-point favorite at home against Colorado. Your other game that features two Big 12 teams that is not for the Big 12 record, Kansas State, a road favorite, 2.5-point favorite at Arizona. Which one would you be more inclined to bet on, and which way would you go on that line?
I'd probably go with that. I think I picked K-State over.
You did.
And that might have been my underdog pick. But I think we were surprised early in the week when that line came out that way. Like, who saw that coming in late August?
Well, by the way, Dylan Edwards, who has not played since the first punt he was going to take back in Ireland, which I saw today they're planning on doing till at least 2037, playing that game in Ireland. How about that? So I don't know if that's like a full extension on that, or if that was just something, we plan on doing it here in Dublin. But since then, we haven't even seen Dylan Edwards have a carry, have a reception. It was that punt return that turned into a fumble, and Iowa State got it, and he's had that ankle issue. He's cleared to play for the first time this week. So is there any rust? Is it, immediately, is it a heavy dose of Dylan Edwards? I'm curious to see what that looks like. But
the other interesting little wrinkle around his story this year is there for a minute, everyone thought he was transferring, right? Yeah. Like the
he was going to USC,
right?
Guess.
The social media was aflame that he was hurt and he, was going to miss a little bit, and then all of a sudden he's in the portal and they found out that it was
somebody put out a fake letter.
Yes. Yeah. It was a nefarious tweet. I know that's like the first time that's ever happened that someone would do something like that on social media. But there for a minute.
Some other lines here. Arizona State. I think this game is really interesting. It's the nightcap tomorrow in the Big 12. Arizona State just had that disappointing outcome against Mississippi State with an atrocious first half and a just as atrocious final defensive play that leaves them beat there in Starkville. They're a 17.5-point favorite at home against a very feisty Texas State squad who is 2-0, just beat UTSA. This game was really interesting at Texas State last year. If you were betting with the 17.5-point Arizona State favorite line there, which way would you go?
Ooh, I'd probably take Arizona State, but what with Texas State dealing with the new offensive coordinator and all. One of my high school classmates, Monterey class of 85, is the mother of the kicker or punter for Texas State. Help me, Clint.
I'm going to go punter.
All right.
Kicker punter.
Close enough.
Is it a combo?
He's one of the specialists.
I got Chuck Hines to look up real fast.
He's one of the specialists. Are you old enough to call him a place kicker, Clint? There's kickers, and then there's place kickers.
If that helps. Yeah. He's the place. You say mother-in-law? Place kicker's mother-in-law. Just the mother.
Her baby
Sorry,
boy
just the mother.
Is the punter, I believe, for the Texas States, the fighting Texas States.
Arizona State just had, yes, they lost. Of course, they didn't look good, but they didn't look good the week before either. I think Sam Leavitt, I think the offense has the talent, even as they try to replace Cam Scattaboo, but especially in the first half, it felt like he was just forcing the issue, which was making things worse. And so if he continues to do that, I don't know when or if that offense will be cleaned up. So I think this week I might take Texas State in the points, not to win, but I mean if this is a 7 to 10 point game, I'm not going to be shocked at all.
It's a big number.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not a crazy big number, but it's a big number. And I'm with you. Texas State covering that thing, and I don't know, anything can happen.
How about a game that I have no idea what's about to happen? The backyard brawl at West Virginia. Pitt on the road is a 7.5 point favorite, but for West Virginia, the bad news last weekend was that they lost to Ohio on the road. The worst news was that arguably their best player done for the year, Jaheim White. They also lose a receiver. It was already going to be a tough. And you know, it's weird because it's a turnaround because you have a new coach, but at the same time, like they won 6 games last year. But then they just have a mass exodus.
Right.
You have Rich Rod back in the fold. Can he be immediately effective? I would not feel confident in their quarterback situation as a whole. I think that's already been proven. I have no idea what's going to happen in this game, though, because I don't know about Pitt.
Yeah, I don't either. It's interesting to think about. You can see where a fan base would be excited about Rich Rod coming back and, trying to regenerate, rejuvenate, but re-energize maybe. But what does that mean to 17-year-olds? You know what I mean? Like, what's the recruiting impact of that? I can see that all these people with history of this program are happy, but what's it mean? And because he was gone for just about a generation.
I will say, because if you view it just from the lens that, at Jacksonville State, immediately what he was able to do, also as they jumped up from the FCS to the FBS level, if you looked at it and just said, hey, there's this coach that's been at Jacksonville, he won the FCS, made a would be a pretty good up-and-comer. He got the future ahead of him. He got the game.
The podcast put together with Red Raider fans in mind. This is the Tech Talk Podcast from Double T 97.3, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
Hour number 3 of Tech Talk, live from the Overton. You got us on Double T 97.3. Thanks for joining us and making us a part of your Friday. The Red Raiders hosting Oregon State tomorrow. Optimum Game Day Live will kick off the morning at 7 and will carry you all the way through the Double T 97.3 Coors Light post-game show, which will be right back here live from the Overton once again. Hit us up on the Yates Flooring Center chat line. Thoughts, comments, questions, score predictions, anything like that. You can hit us up with there. We just had that rejoiner where, that was from a couple years ago where, the complaints of play calling, this, that, everything that has gone. And it just kind of hit me. We really haven't had to do that yet with a new offensive coordinator, to my knowledge, where even when you're running with the 2s and 3s, anyone was like, well, why are we running that play there? We'll probably get to that point. It's just the way it works. I understand that. But
it's a little tighter.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. Nobody was screaming about it when we ran into a brick wall on 3rd and 1.
Sure.
Yeah, 40 points. Yeah.
Let me ask you this.
Tightened down. Yeah. Maybe to a fault.
Let me ask you this. From what we have seen, though, from Mac Leftwich's offense, but sometimes, we've seen it not work that way. What stuck out to you about the offense?
It's really been vanilla, Clint.
Sure.
And I say that in the best way. possible because I don't think they've shown much. So I guess if you're asking me what stood out, I would say we haven't shown much. Like the thing that we heard a lot about was there's going to be a lot of deep shots. A lot of deep shots. And if we came into this season, I would have said, well, the deep shot guy is Caleb Douglas.
Yeah.
And, I mean, that just hadn't happened yet. And not that it's a tricky part of the thing. I don't think there's been any real tricky stuff. It's been pretty straightforward. It's been the kind of playbook that I would expect to see at a spring scrimmage or an August scrimmage, like the red-black game kind of thing. You're running execution-based plays, on the RPOs, just, block them up and go play, right?
Sure. Right. Just go be better Jimmies and Joes.
Right.
And I agree with that. I think one thing that you can tell, and I only say this because there was we kept on getting this question, are we going to see, is it the air raid offense? And again, we're trying to figure out, and there's some elements to it, and he said that. And what I like about Mac Leftwich's story is he really pulls from a lot of coaches that he's worked with and has just formed his own kind of his own baby there, his own offense, his own playbook. But something that I do love about it is that it's always aggressive. It feels like you're not ever taking, play calls off. It's not like every single play call is, perfect world, every play call is designed to be a score, right?
Right.
But you are always attacking the defense. And I also I have enjoyed how balanced it seemed like whenever he was just go to Texas State, and how that is carried over here, and that doesn't seem like you're remotely getting away from running the ball.
No.
All while having a bunch of really explosive weapons and a quarterback that you really trust to run the offense.
Yeah, and so far, with the exception of truly just a handful of plays, everything's worked. You call it works. It's hard to nitpick, or it is. That's about all you can do is nitpick. Clint, here's the question. On Sunday, Utah, how much time do they spend? They probably spend a considerable amount of time with Texas Tech's first 3 games. But do they spend 10% of their time? And these could be analysts and GAs and, all the other things. How much of their time is spent on Texas State 2024? How much of that time is going, hey, he's been too vanilla in their first 3 games, fellas. Make sure we've gotten a good look at Texas State video from last year, because the answer to any trickery is going to be in 2024 Texas State rather than 2025 first 3 games of Texas Tech.
Well, it's kind of like I would venture to guess on your end. Yes, you're looking at their game against UCLA, their game being Utah, their game against UCLA, Cal Poly, whatever happens in Wyoming this weekend. But I bet, specifically for Devin Dampier, probably having a little New Mexico tape popping up over there, right?
Yes.
I know that's not from the full team and not scouting an entire offense, but if you're scouting out, one of their leading players and more dynamic playmakers, I would venture to guess that's probably popped up in a film room or two over there.
Yeah, I would think so, and I would think there are probably some things that, it's the perfect job for an analyst or a student assistant or somebody. Hey, back in August, hey, run through his film and see how many times he's released and thrown well moving to his left. Like some of those things that you would expect in general things we need to know about this guy, right?
Right.
It's the perfect stuff for, hey, in July, when you got 4 college students running around, 3 grad students, however all that stuff's formulated, but a lot of bodies. Hey, let's spend some time on that guy, that team and that guy, so that we can get ahead. And like you said, you assign somebody to let's create a bit of a scouting profile on him from 2024.
Well, it's just like this week, though. It's kind of the same situation where you have a game against Cal, you have a game against Fresno State, but when they were breaking down Malik Murphy, you have a full season last year at another school where he's wearing Duke blue that you're looking at from an individual standpoint.
I mean, with basketball players, they always want to know, does the guy go to his left? Does he go to his right? What's his can he go both? Just do the deal? Does he, when he goes left, he's going to pull up and shoot the jumper. He goes to the bucket. He's going right. Are there basic kind of profile questions that can be answered in the middle of the summer by going to 2024 film? Probably not something you want to be spending a lot of time on the Thursday leading into the game, getting on the plane to Salt Lake City. But, create a general profile. How accurate is he on deep throws, that kind of stuff.
That is a kind of a roundabout way to get to I do feel like you're going to open it up a little bit more this week because you also want to put some things on film. If you're the old strategery as far as, hey, Utah, look at this.
Give you something to prepare
That's what it feels a lot like what that 2-point conversion was you tried in week 1 that didn't work. It's about one of the few things you can complain about.
Absolutely.
More Tech Talk next, live from the Overton.
This has been the Tech Talk Podcast, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction. Check out our library of Double T 97.3 podcasts at doublet97.3.com.